Hi, my name is Rex and I am a dead man walking, and I will explain to you sometime in the not too distant future what I mean when I say that. Um, I am wanting to share some of my cancer journey with you, right through from surgery, chemotherapy, all the diagnoses and decisions, and some unexpected events that happened along the way, in the hope that it might be an encouragement to you or to someone that you love. And also just to let you know that you are not alone in this journey. You are loved, and there is a future beyond what you can see right now, even though it might not feel like it. So last time we talked about the coming home from surgery and the home recovery and what that was like, and some thoughts around that, and especially the battle of the mind and so forth. And this time I want to share with you specifically, it's going to be a hands-on session about living with an ostomy bag, a stoma outlet in your stomach. They obviously chopped out part of my bowel. My bowel now no longer exits out the back, it comes out the front through my tummy, and that's quite a big thing for a lot of people. So I want to share some highs and lows around that, and also some tips and tricks that can make life a little bit easier. And a spoiler alert, it's actually not all bad. It's pretty hard in some ways, but it's not all bad. There are some advantages, believe it or not, to having a stoma bag, an ostomy bag. First of all, I want to share that it is quite traumatic at first, having to learn to deal with your solid waste, or even if it's a liquid waste, coming out the front of your stomach rather than out your back end. It's a massive change, and it does have some advantages. One of them is, for example, diarrhea is nothing like as unpleasant. You don't have that rush to the toilet sometimes that you would have had. You can change your bag on a schedule often, and other things that, like I'd had a little bit of itchy bottom and little hemorrhoids, polyps type things, which weren't nice previously, and once you've got an ostomy bag, those problems just go away. Because you're no longer straining at all, the blood vessels aren't doing that work, and so there can be some advantages there. The first tip I want to share is that the most important things to have are your kit for changing your stoma bag, and you'll want a home kit that's in your comfy space, your bathroom, your toilet, wherever that may be. But you'll also want a kit for any vehicles that you've got that are sitting there for any emergencies, and also a small kit for your handbag or your man bag or backpack, something like that. You'll find that they do become essential somewhere along the way, and it's really important to be prepared. It can be quite traumatic when you're caught short. I have been caught short, and it's not fun, but you have to, if it does happen, you have to pick yourself up and move on, and not let it really hit you too bad. So one thing that I have found very helpful as well in my stoma bag journey is having a stomach binder or an elastic band that a big fat one, 250 mils high, that goes right around, because that does two things. It holds the stoma bag on securely, but it also slims it right down so it's not bubbling out through your shirt or anything, and people just wouldn't know you have it if you've got one of those. You do have to watch it, because you don't want it stopping the output from coming out freely. That's really important, free flow. You'll want to find, first of all, a routine that works for you, and everybody's different the way their body works. So for me, I empty it every night at bedtime, or when I say empty it, I actually change the pouch. It's a self-adhesive one, and it works very well, but I change that every night at bedtime. And usually before I go out somewhere during the daytime, if I'm going to go into town and do some errands or that sort of thing, I pop the bag on, a new bag on, fresh, and so it's completely flat. And so you want to do that before going out, and also before doing anything else. Like, for example, if you were going to go swimming, surfing, anything like that, it might feel like those things are impossible. They're not impossible with a stoma bag, an ostomy bag. You can do it, and especially if you empty it first, put it down flat, and if you're wearing something that binds it in, it makes no difference to a normal activity. Yeah, the other thing about changing it before bedtime for me is it avoids sleepless nights. They're not fun when you're worried that you're going to have a disaster, that something might let go, or it might fill up and explode, or whatever. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Yeah, the other thing that's important about your changing schedule is that you don't leave the bag on for so long that it can cause, you want it regularly cleaned. You don't want it to cause infection or anything like that. And as you change the bag, of course, you're cleaning. And so if you're doing it regularly, at least once or twice a day, then you shouldn't face any problems at all of that nature. And the other tip I guess I have there is to always change it before it is full. The discomfort and the risk of a disaster, I have found it's not worth it to sort of try and let the thing get fuller and fuller before you change it. Once it's sort of half full or so and it's been a little while, just change it and be comfortable again with a nice slim, no full bag. That's really nice. Alright, so on to the content warning. This video today is hands-on, and it's going to involve my ugly bare belly, and it's going to involve the sort of thing that you would see when you're changing the children's nappies, for a practical look at how I go about removing my ostomy bag, replacing it, cleaning it in the process. Should I say cleaning my body in the process where the outlet is. And in addition to that, a couple of other things as well on how to shave, because that's, if you're a man, really important to make it able to stick well, otherwise hair gets in the way of it sticking well. And also another thing where there are unwanted growths of skin or little bits of flesh, and how to deal with those as well, if you want to do that yourself. At all times having to take the utmost care not to nick or in any way damage your intestine, your bowel, which is poking out through the abdomen wall. It's very, very important. Very hard to fix those things once they happen. So always get professional advice. What I'm giving you isn't advice. I'm just telling you what I do and sharing my experience. But so if you don't really want to see those things, fast forward to the end if you like. But if you do, you may find some little tips here helpful. So we'll go to the bathroom and we will launch into that together. Okay, so here we are in the bathroom, and I'm just going to share with you what's in my kit and how I go about things. So the first thing in my kit is a disposal bag, because you're going to need a disposal bag to get rid of your empty from your stoma pouch. So the disposal bag there. Then there is the adhesive remover. It's a little thing that sprays on. I'll show you how to use it, and it's amazing at just releasing the adhesive on the bag itself. So that it comes off easy, makes it nice and easy to clean your skin, and then to pop the new bag on fresh, so that should stick really well too. The third thing is the replacement stoma bag itself. I should explain. So this one has a little viewing pouch. I never use the viewing pouch, but the stoma bag itself is just that size. You can actually cut them out to a different shape or size. Often after surgery, it takes quite a while for maybe a couple of months even, for the stoma shape to become its final shape. Often, if they've done a great job of it, which my surgeon did an amazing job, it came into a nice circle eventually, and of course that just peels off and it goes on, and I'll show you the tricks for installing that as well. And then the last thing that I also have with mine in my kit is some fragrance-free or sensitive skin wet wipes. And so when I'm about to change my Stoma bag, these are the things that I take. So there's the disposal bag, the adhesive remover, the new Stoma bag, and the wet wipe for cleanup. I actually cheat as well, and I take I take some squares of toilet paper as well, and that helps me to do. I'll show you the order in which I do it. All right, so here's the bare-bellied bit. So the first thing that I do here is it's important to get your shirt and everything up out of the way. Now, for a woman wearing a dress, you may have to do it quite a different way, like taking it down, but for me, I'm only going to show you what I do. And I actually lift up and I bring because the Stoma bag is on that side, my left, I withdraw my arm through and I put it down the inside of my shirt, and then I pull the shirt up over, so you can see there it's just like that, and it keeps the shirt well out of the way, and it's nice and simple to pop it back down again afterwards. So if your clothing is amenable to that, you'll find a way that suits you anyway. And so there's the bag itself. Mine, I haven't had any output since last night, so it's looking pretty flat there. Yeah, so I'm going to show you first of all how to take the thing off. When you take it off, sometimes there's a bit of muck that you need to get rid of straight away so it doesn't fall down onto your trousers or whatever. Some people like to start by taking their disposal bag and tucking it in to their trousers like this, and with the idea that will kind of potentially, and if you fold it back over it makes a good opening, that will catch stuff. The only thing is, if there's a bit of weight in your Stoma bag, when you drop the used Stoma bag in, sometimes it just pulls it out and it falls out. I actually do prefer myself to hang the bag over like a shower door handle or over the handle of the window, dropping down over the shelf. And sometimes I find it convenient to stand over the toilet so that if there's any drop bits, they drop into the toilet instead. But in this case, I'm just going to sit it on the shower handle while I do this, while I demonstrate to you how I normally go about this process. So in it goes. So the first thing is removing it. So this Stoma adhesive is very, very good stuff. I grab the tab from the top and I just pull it back just a little bit like that, so that there's enough of a cupped area that when I spray this in at the top, it will drop the adhesive remover in the top, and then as you gently pull it down, the adhesive remover keeps running down and releasing it all the way, so that the last part that releases is the bottom. But so let's do that. So pull that out, spray it in, and then I sit that there. And even if I do nothing, I sort of push the top in and out a little bit. Even if I do nothing, it's amazing how quickly it just lets go. You can see that there. And so I'm just going to carefully, gently remove that. I actually find to see my own fat stomach, sometimes it's better to push a little bit on the top. And there you go. And so that's come off that easily with the Stoma adhesive. You don't have to use the adhesive remover. Now the adhesive is just built into you don't have to put extra adhesive on, it's just built into the sticky bit itself. So there's the Stoma bag, and there is my Stoma area, my Stoma opening. And so I'll just talk to that for a minute. I'll put the bag away in the bin, and so I'm going to just grab a piece of toilet paper. Now they do recommend not to use toilet paper, so I'm a bit naughty, it might irritate it or anything, but I just run around the area, and then instead of rubbing, when I get to the bit that's the actual Stoma opening itself, I tend to dab, maybe move a tiny bit to the left and the right, but just generally dabbing around. And so you'll see that it tends to stick, which isn't ideal. I don't worry if a little bit is stuck on it, because it'll just come out with the next bit of movement, bowel movement. And then once I've done that, I grab the, so I've dried it off, or I've got as much as I can with the toilet paper, and then I grab a wet wipe. Some people might use wet wipes for the whole job, but I do use toilet paper again at the end just to dry it, so that the next Stoma bag will stick really well to the dry surface. So I just go thoroughly, make sure I've got all traces of residue off so it will stick well. Now, of course, when you look at this, you'll see I've got a whole lot of hair there, and I've deliberately left it so that I can show you how I reduce that. If you're a guy, if you're a man, then you're going to potentially need to deal with this perhaps once a week or something, just to make sure that the hair doesn't grow to a point where it reduces how effective the adhesive is. So I'm going to grab my shaver here and show you how to shave it. Now, it's well, this is how I do it. You've got to be very, very careful, because this here is your intestine, and you can see a little bit of bleeding there. I don't worry about that, it's fine. It's never really come right for me. It always bleeds a little bit, but it'll come right. And so just got to keep on dabbing it to get to make it dry while I do this. And so it's just really important never to nick, never even to go near the actual stomach bit, because that would be serious harm. And if you were to ever nick it or anything, I would get straight to the doctor and see what to do. So anyway, I'm just going to whip around here like this with the shaver, and it will tidy things up and make things stick better. So I'm going to do that now. And there you go. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all. No need for perfection. And so then what I do is I get rid of all the bits of hair on there, just gently dab it on the actual stoma opening itself. Now you can see that's quite clean and smooth. So that should go really well. You can see there how from the original surgery it sort of cut through the middle of my belly button. So I've got sort of a semi there and a bit there. And there's the wound from there to there from the original surgery. It was quite big. So yeah, so now we've cleaned it and it's looking just lovely. And now the next little trick that I found so useful that they taught me was when you're putting your stoma bag on, you actually you bend it backwards like this, like that, because that enables you to cup the bottom under the bottom of your of the stomal opening and then roll it on, and it works really well. So I'm going to try and show you that on the camera. So you remove the adhesive. One thing that works particularly well is if you're in a warm room or this is warm, it sticks so much better. And so anyway, so I just grab it there, I push just on the top and bottom to bow it backwards like that, and so I can see the bottom, and then I hold that and I sit the bottom just under the stoma, but not touching the actual not touching the actual intestine stuff, and then it just goes on and around. And then when you've got it on, you push it in, not pushing on the actual intestine itself, but just around it close in, and you hold that for 20 or 30 seconds, and that enables the adhesive to really start sticking. Now the other trick that I do here, which does work really, really well for me, is to is to put my little binder belt over it, because then it just holds it on, and so for the next 10 minutes or so it just bonds beautifully, and so you get a nice tight seal and nothing to worry about. Now I was going to show you how to deal with any little bits of extra flesh using these silver nitrate sticks, but I've gone and put the cover on beforehand. So I might show you that another time, but I'll show you what you can do. There's these little sticks called silver nitrate that by touching the silver nitrate on any unwanted bits of flesh, it will kill the skin and remove it. Of course, again, very important not to allow that to happen on the intestine itself, but those little growths that you get around the outside of the opening, that's one way to deal with that. So I won't show you that today, but just to make you aware that that is available for getting rid of bits that are painful and nuisancey. So I'm just grabbing my yucky stuff. I don't normally put it sitting on the countertop here. I normally just, as I do it, throw it straight in the little bag. So what else was I going to share with you there? So the waste bag, the kit, the removal, the cleaning, fitting the new pouch. That's it. We are done. Okay, so there you go. We've got the hands-on bit over and done with there, and so hopefully that was helpful to you. So I guess really for me, one of the hardest things to deal with is the fear of disasters happening at home and elsewhere, and the main thing is always to change it regularly and make sure that you've got your kits all sorted, and it just makes life very easy when you do that. I think I mentioned you can go swimming. Best thing to do is use a thin wetsuit or a rash vest or anything. You can go surfing with a wetsuit over the top, anything that will just hold it in, and as long as you change the bag and start with an empty bag before starting activities, and have a spare one with you in the car or in your pack if you're going biking or whatever, that works really well. One little thing I don't think I mentioned is that sometimes they manage to do the surgery in such a way that there's enough left of the rectal stump that the operation can be reversed, and they can reconnect your bowel to the rectum again, so it goes out the bottom instead of out of your stomach. That's a possibility, and some people, it's so it's so important to them that they feel that it's worth that, even though you have to go through all that recovery again, being cut fully open and doing all the rest. And so I've talked to people who have been pleased that they have done that, even though I haven't done it myself. But you're always, in all of these things, for every aspect, you need to get professional advice, real advice. All I'm doing is sharing my story with you. It's very hard. I think for a woman it must be much harder than it is for a man, but it's hard for a man as well. It's a major intrusion and a major change to your body function. It affects a lot of things. But I want to assure you, you are not ugly. You're not a reject, and you are loved. And you may need to find new ways to do some things in life. You will need to find new ways to do some things, but having an ostomy bag does not have to ruin your life. It really doesn't. I'd really encourage you to talk to those who you love and get their help in finding new ways to do and to enjoy things that might seem impossible or ruined with an ostomy bag. They don't need to be ruined, they really don't. And also pray to God for his help in finding your way through and even enjoying your new normal for now. The great news, of course, is that this is only for a time. Our lives are only for a time, and these things that seem so hard in our lives can actually be for our good. They develop our character amazingly, and they help us to depend on something other than just our looks or our comfort or our convenience. And some of the most beautiful people in the world are those who have been through much suffering. I've got to say, who wants to get their self-worth from things that fade in this life? Rather have things that don't fade and that are of the inner person and can grow more and more beautiful with age. And in heaven, of course, we get a new body, a body that will be perfect. It won't have any sickness, no injury, no cancer, nothing bad. We will be like the angels, just as Jesus said. And if you're not sure that you're going to heaven, get hold of a Bible. Learn about Jesus. The Bible is all about Jesus, the exact representation of God. And start by reading the book of John, I would recommend. And if you get through John, then have a look at the book of Acts maybe as well. One of the key principles about God is that if you are willing, He is willing. And ask and you'll receive. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open to you. So next time that we meet, I'll talk about the diagnosis that came back from the lab and how I went about making decisions about chemotherapy. That had to be one of the hardest experiences of this whole time since the initial becoming aware I had cancer. I didn't find it easy to decide at all, and it's hard even to think about it. But I will be looking forward to sharing that with you in the hope that there's some help in that for you. But until then, take care and know that if things seem really hard, they won't stay like this forever, and you'll increasingly have good days until it is mostly good days. God's word says that weeping may last for the night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning. So remember, when you're weeping, it's for tonight. If you're really struggling, try reaching out to God. He promises He is not far from any one of us. And that's the experience of many millions of people around the world who have found hope in the one who made you and who understands you better than you understand yourself. There's a song in the description especially for you if you'd like to have a listen. There's a link there, but I will look forward to catching up with you next time and talking about chemotherapy decisions. Much love in the meantime. See ya.